everyone and happy Thursday. Today in our maths lesson, we are going to be looking at capacity again. And today we are going to compare capacity and we're going to be using the words more and less than to do that. And you might even remember that those two words can also be used as symbols. So we're going to have a look at those today as well. So let's share my screen and I can show you exactly what our plan is. Because today is Thursday, the 25th of February 2021, and we are going to see how do brilliant mathematicians compare capacity. And you can remember that capacity is when we are trying to measure how full or empty something is. So we're going to start by warming up our brains and we're going to go back to our coconut game today and see if you can help me order some numbers using our 10 times table, so counting in tens. Then we're going to have a look together at using more and less than to compare the levels of capacity. Then we'll set you off on your challenges and we'll come back together and mark our work and share our answers. So let's have a little look at what we need today. You are going to need your pencil, your notebook or your pieces of paper to be able to write your answers for your challenges. And if you've got your whiteboard pen and your whiteboard, that would be really good for our warm up. And of course, we need those maths brains, so we're going to warm those up in just a second. But before we do that, if you need to pause the video and go and grab anything you need for today's lesson, pause it now and come back when you're ready. Okay, here we go then. Now on Tuesday, I think it was, we had a go at the coconut challenge game. So what we are going to do today is we're going to play a similar game, but we are using our knowledge of tens to count in tens. So should we just do a quick speedy warm up? Let's see if we can go from 0 all the way to 100 counting in tens. Are you ready? Let's start at 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Great job. So remember that when we count in tens, the tens change, but the ones don't. There are no ones in our numbers when we are looking at the 10 times table. So let's have an explore and let's get our game up and I'll show you exactly what we can do for our warm up. So let's have a little look if I can share our coconut game. So today I'm going to go into the tens. So you can have a little look here and that's what I mean. We've got no ones. So if you have a look at 20, it's got 2 tens but no ones. 40 has got 4 tens and no ones. Have a look at 90. How many tens has 90 got? 9. And how many ones? Nothing, 0. 60 has 6 tens and 0 ones. And there's 0 all by himself. There's nothing. We haven't got any tens and any ones. There's 0. So I think we already know what our smallest number is going to be. Now let's just check because sometimes it tricks us out. How are we ordering today? We're still going to order the smallest number to the largest, the biggest number. So if you've got your whiteboards close by, have a little look and see if you can put those coconuts in the right order, from the smallest to the largest number. So I'm going to have a go on my whiteboard. I'm going to put the smallest number first. And what would be the next smallest? I've got to look at my tens. I think I've got that. Going for that middle number. Oh, I'm just checking that my numbers are the right way around on my whiteboard. I don't want any numbers the wrong way. Okay, I think I've done it. Have a go at writing your numbers in the smallest to the largest order. And have a go at showing me your whiteboards in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look. I've gone for 0 first, no tens or no ones. Then I've gone for 20, 40, 60, and then 90. I wonder if you got the same order as me. Should we see if we're right? Okay, I'm going to use my board and I'm going to knock them off. Can you shout out the first number to knock off? It's going to be 0. Then we're going to go for 20. What's that next number that I'm going to put in my order? Shout it out. 40. Then I'm going to go for 60. And what's my last number going to be? What's the largest number? 90. Should we check our answers? Excellent. Good job, everybody. Now we've got 5 more to order. So see if you can rub your boards off and have a go at ordering these next ones. So I'm going to rub my answers off and I'm going to go for the next one now. Remember, we're going from the smallest to the largest number. Write them on your whiteboards. Well, I've got to be careful this time. Got some numbers that could trick me to go the wrong way around. Oh, okay, I think I've got it. Gone from the smallest all the way to the biggest number. Get ready to show me your whiteboards. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show me. Okay, I've got my 0. Then I went for 10. I think that's the next smallest number. 20, and then, oops, what did I do with my 5? Oh, it's the wrong way round. Can I remember that rhyme? Down his neck, around his tummy, add a hat, and 5 looks funny. Oh, I hope I've got that round the right way now. Just check your answers for me. And then the biggest number, I've put 80. So I wonder if your order's the same as mine. Let's give it a go. So the smallest number I'm going to knock off is 0. Then I'm going to go for 10. Then 20. Then 50 with that 5 round the right way. And the biggest number, the largest number is 80. Should we check? Excellent. Brilliant job. Excellent. Well done. And we're going to pause our video there. And we're going to now move on, that our brains are nice and warmed up to look at that word capacity. So let me share my screen again, and we're going to have a look at the next part of our slides. So we've done our warm up, our brains are ready. We're now going to remind ourselves of those 4 words. And I have got my glass here. That's the container that I am using to measure the capacity. And I'm about to pour some orange juice into my glass. But at the moment, what's the capacity of that container? How much orange juice do I have? I'm going to use the word empty. The capacity, it's empty. There's nothing there. Now let's have a little look. Can I remember the other words that I used yesterday? Empty was the first word. Oh look. Nearly empty, nearly empty. Then I'm going to put a bit more. Oh, not quite full. It's nearly full. And now I've used up all my orange juice. My container is full. So can you remember those 4 words we looked at yesterday? Empty, nearly full, and full. So let's have a little look at 2 more containers. I've got some bottles here, some bottles of water. And you can see that bottle A, it's kind of halfway really, it's nearly full. And bottle B, it's nearly empty, I would say. So I've started to use those 4 words to think about bottle A and bottle B. But what I'm going to try and use is the words more and less. So let me try. I'm going to have a look at bottle A and B, and I am saying A has more water than bottle B. I could turn it round and say bottle B has less water than bottle A. And then I could really show off by using the word because. And that means I'm now going to give a reason. So if I have a look at bottle A and B, I could say something like, bottle A is more than bottle B because bottle B is nearly empty. So I've used one of my words that I learned yesterday, and I've used it to give a reason for why I think I'm right with my more and less than. So I've compared those bottles. Bottle A is more than bottle B because bottle B is nearly empty. Now let's have a look at this next one, because do you remember that we can also use symbols for more and for less? So if you have a little look down here, when we say the word more, we can draw the symbol where you've got an arrow and there's a big gap one side. So the biggest needs to go this side. And the smallest part of what you're comparing would go that side. It's a bit like that crocodile, where the crocodile always wants to eat the biggest thing. And if you have a little look over at the word less, it's the other way around. So the small part has to go to the smallest number, and the big part has to go to the biggest one. But if I put my bottles back, I've got bottle A there, and because A has the most water in, I've put it next to the biggest side. And bottle B has got the smallest amount of water, so it has the small arrow. So can you see how the more full my container is, I use the bigger part of my arrow. So A is more than B. I could use it the other way around though, and say that B, with my small amount of water in, is less than A. So I've swapped my symbols round there. More always points to the most, the biggest, and less always points to the smallest. Let's put that into practice. We've got some buckets here. I've got bucket A and bucket B. So I wonder, have you got your whiteboards nearby? And let's have a go at putting A on one side of our boards and B on the other side. So you've got a nice big gap here. Now let's have a think. You've got bucket A. Is bucket A less than bucket B? Or is bucket A more? Oh, well, if I look at bucket A, it hasn't got much in, it's nearly empty. And bucket B's got much more in, it's getting to nearly full. So I think the word I'm looking for is less. A is less than B. So what symbol would I put in? Can you use your whiteboard pen to put the correct symbol in? If B has the most in, make sure that big crocodile's mouth is going to the biggest bucket that is full, which would be B. See if you can show me your boards. A is less than B. So I've got my small part of my arrow pointing to the small amount and my big open mouth going to the biggest amount. So A is less than B. And I can tell you why, because A is nearly empty. I'm using those words again. So if you're feeling happy using our more and less than symbols, you might want to use those for our next part. If you're thinking, oh, I quite like just using the words more and less, then you can carry on using those words. Because we're now going to look at, whoa, a container that's A, a container that's B, a container that is C, and a container that is D. So let's have a look at A first. It's nearly full, isn't it? Whereas B, it's empty. There's nothing in there. C is nearly full as well. And D, I think that's pretty full. You couldn't get much more in it. So I wonder, If you're feeling happy using the symbols, let's try using those again. And if you're happier using the words, then of course you can write the words in. So let's have a go at writing A and B back on our boards. And let's have a little think. What word or what arrow would we put into the middle? Is A more than B? Or is A less than B? Have a go. Can you put the word or the symbol in there for me? Oh, I think I've got it. I think that A is more. A is more than B. So I've put my big crocodile mouth facing the biggest part, which is A, because it's nearly full. And B is the smallest part, it's empty. So you could have drawn your arrow looking like this, or you could have written the words more. A is more than B. Let's be really clever now though. If we already know that A is more than B, I wonder what would happen if we added C on. So we've already solved A and B, so we can almost hide that. But now let's have a look at B and compare it to C. So there's container B. Has it got more or less than container C? Oh, B has got less. B is less than C. So which symbol would we use? Oh, I think I've got it. I'm going to say B is less than C. Look at that maths. We worked out that A is more than B, and then we looked at the other two containers. B has got less in it than C. Look how complicated that looks. All we've got to do is split it up and look at it chunk by chunk. And that's how we're going to try and compare in our challenges today. So don't worry if you're finding the symbols a bit confusing, because you know you can use the words more or less. But if you want to give the symbols a go, then you can see which challenge you want to pick today. So let's have a little look at them. If you're more happy with the words more and less, you're going to go for the green challenge today, and you're going to see if you can use those words to compare some containers. If you're thinking, no, I'm going to give those symbols a go, then you can pick the yellow challenge, where you're going to be comparing the containers by using the symbols. And if you want to solve a little bit of a problem for me, we're going to use the red challenge today to see if you can find out how many cups and how many buckets it takes to fill a big red bucket. So let's split those challenges up. If you're going to use the words more or less, then you've got some containers here. So you've got to look at the buckets A and B and decide which word is going to go in the middle here. A is blank than B. So which word would you put in the middle? You then have to look at my bottles, C and D, and my cups, E and F. So if you're going to have a go at writing those sentences into your book, pause the video here and have a go at using the words more and less. If you're going to try and use those symbols, we've got a little bit of a challenge for you. And remember, take each step at a time. So for question number 1, I've already given you a little hint. This bottle is completely empty, completely full. It's right full up to the top there. So this bottle is full. So I've said A is more than B. So I wonder, can you keep going for me? Now you've got to look at B and compare it to the bottle C. And then you've got to look at C and compare it to the bottle D. And you can use our symbols more or less to help you. And the same with problem number 2. You've got 3 buckets to compare and you need to draw the symbols in here. This symbol will show you looking at A and B, and this symbol will make you look at B and C. So if you're going to go and have a challenge and look at the symbols, have a go at pausing the video here to use your more and less than knowledge. And if you're up for the red challenge today, we've got a bit of a problem. We've got cups, blue buckets, and a big red bucket to have a little look at. So let's decode it together before I leave you for the challenge. It says up here, it takes 5 cups to fill 1 bucket. So let's have a look at that. There's the 5 cups. So I'd have to pour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cups to fill that blue bucket. It also says it takes 2 of the blue buckets to fill the big red bucket. So let's have a look at that. So 2 of those buckets would fill the big red bucket. So you know it takes 5 cups to fill a blue bucket, and it takes 2 blue buckets to fill the big red bucket. So I'm going to leave you with 2 questions I want you to try and solve. How many cups to fill 1 big red bucket? How many would you need to fill that big red bucket? And if you've worked out how many cups you can use to fill 1 big red bucket, can you work out how many cups you need to fill 2 red buckets? So pause the screen so you can have a real good look at that information and see if you can solve that big red problem for me. Pause it now and have a go. Wow, okay everybody, we've done some really hard work today at trying to compare, and well done if you had a go at writing the words, practicing using the symbols, and if you had a go at that red challenge, really well done as well. So we're nearly at the end of our lesson, which means that we're just going to share our answers and mark our work together. So let's have a little look at the green challenge, because you had to write the word to compare the containers. So A is less than B. So you should have written the word less in that blank space because A is nearly empty and B is nearly full. Let's have a look at the next one. C is more than D. C is nearly full and D is empty. So C is more than D. And let's have a look at the last one. E is more than F because E is full and F is nearly full. So well done if you had those 3 words in the right order. Good job for doing the green challenge. Now let's have a look at the challenge using the more and less than symbols. Did you have a go at splitting it up and looking at 1 container at a time? I gave you the first clue that A is full, so it is more than B. And then what you had to do was look at B and C. And you should have said that B is more than C. It's got more liquid in it than C because C is nearly empty. And then the last bit of that challenge, you had to look at the container C and compare it to the container D. And you would have hopefully put less than. C is less than D because C is nearly empty and D is nearly full. So good job if you compared all 4 bottles using those symbols. Let's move on to the buckets and have a little look at those. We've got A and B. So I'm just going to look at A and B to start with. And I think A is more than B. A is nearly full and B, it's kind of nearly empty. It's halfway full. So A is more than B. And then I've got to look at B and C. I think B is more than C. B is more than C because C is nearly empty. So really well done if you had a go at those yellow challenges today, where you had to look at lots of containers and use our arrows the right way round. So good job if you tried that one. And if you went on to solve the problem of the cups, the buckets and the big red bucket, let's see if you had a go. So we know that 5 cups can fill a blue bucket. We know that 2 blue buckets can fill a red bucket. So I've snuck the answers on down here. If we know that there is 5 cups to fill a blue bucket, I know that 5 cups need to go in there. And, well, if I need another blue bucket to fill the red bucket, I'm going to need another 5 cups. So 5 in this bucket and 5 in that bucket would mean I've got 10 cups. So 10 cups would have filled the big red bucket. So really well done if you solved that 5 add 5 would make 10. And then did you have a go to see if you could work out what 2 buckets would need? So this time, if I've got 2 red buckets, I know that 10 is needed to fill 1 bucket. So 10, add another 10 would have meant 20 cups were needed to fill the big red bucket. So well done if you did some exploring and you figured out that 10 cups would fill 1 red bucket and 20 cups would have filled the 2 red buckets. Wow, I think we've done some super maths today, everybody, and you've done really, really well at trying to compare using our words more and less. And well done if you had a go at using those arrows again today too. Now, tomorrow is Friday and we are going to be a little bit creative tomorrow. I'm going to let you think of a container that you might want to choose, and you are going to see if you can use that container to measure the capacity of something. And we're going to use our imaginations to create our own special capacity container tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you for our Friday experiment. Enjoy the rest of your day and really well done for working so super hard. See you tomorrow, everybody, and take care. Bye.